Hi everyone, Danielle here. We're going to be taking a brief tour of Chanticleer Garden in early October. I just got done listening to a fabulous lecture by Francis Palmer, and I have about 1 hour before I need to head home. So I thought I'll pop over to Chanticleer real quick and see how all the gardens are looking. I heard the cut flower garden is looking absolutely amazing, so we definitely need to stop by that wonderful and inspirational garden and take a look. But we're starting right here in the Teacup Garden, where they have these ginormous banana plants. These plants must be 20 feet tall. They must overwinter them in a greenhouse. I can't believe how tall they are here in South Central Pennsylvania. It looks like there's still a lot of beautiful things in bloom. I see marigolds, verbena, and I love how they use lime in this garden. It's really more about the foliage and pops of orange than anything else. And they have these amazing turquoise planters all over this courtyard garden. Now in the center here, they have a teacup fountain, and it looks to me like this might be baby's tears flowing out of this turquoise pot. Do you think that's correct? I'm not 100% sure. It looks like we have some beautiful olives surrounding the teacup fountain. And if I circle us around these really tall bananas, you can see some floating pots that they have where they float lotus and maybe even some lettuce. What's that floating lettuce called? I can't remember. I used to grow it at our old house where I had a sink in the garden that I picked up from the side of the road. Oh, here it looks like maybe they have more baby's tears leading toward the teacup fountain. That is really neat. I just love coming to Chanticleer no matter what time of year it is. Not only are the plantings exquisite and inspirational, but the artistry that's found in the furniture and like on here, on this beautiful railing, is just phenomenal. And I've read that a lot of the people that work here have made all of these beautiful and functional art pieces that are found in the garden. Now it looks like the white garden is closed at the moment. They might be working on the grass, but here's a look. So why don't we go down to the lower courtyard since we can't go up there. It looks to me like they might have a ginkgo in this pot. And this pot is easily probably 5 foot, maybe 5 inches tall. I think it's about as tall as I am. They're bringing down that beautiful lime color, and also the tropicals continue. It's a really peaceful garden over here. And wait till you see what it looks like when we round this corner. We're really only looking at a green garden here, and I love that. I think green is just, I don't know, so peaceful. I don't know a better word for it than it just brings me a lot of peace being in a garden full of differing shades of green. Straight ahead, we do have some begonias still in bloom, but check out this gorgeous view. Isn't that spectacular? So many beautiful textures and forms, but really just using green. I do see some white wood aster under this large tree. And I'm so thankful to Yulia from Y Garden for sending me some white wood aster. It's over in Grace's garden and blooming now. Gorgeous hollies for evergreen interest, but the picture here I just think is out of this world. Hostas, grasses, hellebores. Now look how creative this is. These hanging planters look to have some kind of monstera growing in them. They're almost like large kokedamas. That is so cool. And I'm not sure if they're being suspended from the deck up there or what. Here's a really great idea. 2 planters behind a bench where they're training this vine to go from one pot to another. Let me know if you recognize that vine. I love the lime color. Now here's a view from the other direction. The white wood aster planted in mass is truly spectacular. And I love to see how they've limbed up almost all of their panicle hydrangeas. I really need to start doing that. Some of you suggested that in the last video that I made, and that's definitely on the agenda, probably for maybe next month, maybe even this month. Now, how about these beautiful Japanese anemones? These are also really tall, maybe about 5 feet tall. Let me know if you recognize the cultivar. Here at Chanticleer, they don't label the plants, but they do have plant lists that you can discover at each garden. So you are able to find out what's growing in which garden if you really want to. So now we're going to be heading down to the tennis court garden. And this is where I got the idea to put stones in my main flower walk because I love the look of stones in the grass that they used here in the tennis court garden. But let me walk down without falling. Okay, we just walked down those stairs, and I love how this pathway takes you in multiple directions. Not too much in bloom in this garden now. I remember it being heavily planted with lilies. We've got a beautiful yew hedge right here. So let's take the pathway that goes to the right. How about those amazing bananas in the distance? I can't believe the size. And now we're on the exterior of that garden, and I just wanted to show you how it's completely hidden when you walk around the garden. You can't even see that the tennis court garden exists. So I love how they planted the exterior of that garden. Okay, friends, but this is why I really wanted to stop by Chanticleer today. So I believe it's currently October 7th, just for frame of reference, here in Zone 6B, Southern Pennsylvania, although this is Wayne, Pennsylvania. I live in Southern Pennsylvania. And this is the cut flower garden, and I've always been a huge admirer of this garden. I've had the opportunity to talk to a previous head gardener here, and she was just so giving of information and so willing to take the time to answer any questions that I had. I'm just forever thankful to her. I know she's moved on, and I think she manages an estate now. So friends, there's no tags, as I say, but I'll do my best to ID things as we walk along. This looks like Kiss Me Over the Garden Gate. And interestingly, the blooms on this appear to be more of a pastel pink than a hot pink like you would normally see on Kiss Me Over the Garden Gate. Now it looks to me like we have some snail vine growing here. So, you know, my snail vine didn't do very well this year, but as I see this growing and blooming here at Chanticleer, I think, to be honest, I'm a little bit underwhelmed. What do you think, friends? Have you grown snail vine? Did you like it? I heard it has a great fragrance, but I'm not getting any fragrance standing about a foot away from it. I really like how they have this garden laid out. Basically every row, and they are gardening here in rows, but the rows are on diagonals, and I think that's really interesting, and it brings a little more character to the garden versus growing in straight rows. This foliage that we're seeing right here is cup and saucer vine foliage. I don't see any blooms on it at the moment. But I love all the dahlias that they just have scattered everywhere. I'm not noticing a pattern, although maybe there is, but it's just fun how they pop up here and there, and they're kind of towering over the other cut flowers. Really inspiring, and it's just great to see the way different people lay out a cut flower garden. Perhaps we have some gladiolas or crocosmia right there. Floss flower lines the pathway. And here we have cherry tomatoes climbing up this secondary trellis. This might be something like Boom Boom Yellow Dahlia. But those cherry tomatoes are really a great idea, aren't they? The zinnias here look really, really healthy. Oh, does anyone want to ID that plant for me? I'm too afraid to say it in a YouTube video. Chocolate cosmos down here. Oh, friends, chocolate cosmos are awesome. I'm not sure why more people don't grow them. Gomphrena, Rudbeckia, and I even see some yarrow in this garden. Here we have some Tithonia. Right next to it, some white phlox, some more marigolds, gorgeous amaranth, and they're staking those up really nicely. I guess I didn't grow many marigolds this year. Maybe I didn't grow any marigolds at all. We're back in the interior now. Beautiful orange dahlias. And it looks like over here we have Sensation Cosmos. Next to that was Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus. We've got some cannas. Here I see Creme de Cassis Dahlia. Such a beautiful water lily dahlia, isn't it? Just exquisite. Cafe au lait dahlia there. I'm not sure what this plant is. Does anyone recognize it? I have never seen this plant before. Very interesting. I would love to know what that cut flower is. I see some Nicotiana sprinkled down there at the bottom. Acidanthera, such a wonderful bulb. Really underused bulb in my opinion. Let me know if you recognize this really cool cactus dahlia. I really like the support system that they have here. It seems that they've made almost a small miniature fence out of branches. It could be serviceberry branches that they're using or something similar. And I see that we have just so many beautiful sunflowers everywhere and salvias. Let's take a look over here. It looks like they still have some snapdragons hanging on. More Kiss Me over the garden gate. And check this out. I need to back up to show you this. Look how they've displayed these sunflower heads. Isn't that incredibly creative? I'll have to think of a way I can do that in my garden. I'm not really sure about Kiss Me over the garden gate. Some people have said I should grow it, but I just don't know if I can get on board with Kiss Me over the garden gate. It reminds me too much of that common weed. This is really interesting though. They have mums and marigolds interplanted in that lane. Let's walk down a little bit. I think I see some seed dahlias. You know, this is actually really interesting. I think they have mums, marigolds, and even zinnias interplanted in the same row. That might be worth a try. I tend to stay away from the heritage mums just because I don't want to have my space be mums for so long and not be able to flip that bed, but interplanting them might be the solution to that. But look at these seed dahlias. I'm just on such a big seed dahlia kick. I would be willing to bet a lot of money that those are seed dahlias. Okay, I'll say it, friends. We have the hairy balls plant. I don't know who named that, but it definitely needs a PR makeover. And as we round this last trellis, we see more cherry tomatoes in bloom. And it's just such a beautiful and inspiring place, isn't it? Definitely still worth a visit if you're local or anywhere nearby. Okay, friends, I'm running out of time. I have about 15 minutes left, so let's head up to Chanticleer House so I can show you what's in bloom. So we have some gorgeous begonias here at the entrance. This is one of my favorite gardens because they have both big leaf and mountain hydrangeas mass planted all around this circle gravel garden. It looks like we have some ginormous, what are those? Those look like bird of paradise plants in planters. And Isn't it wonderful how they've underplanted all of these hydrangeas with hellebores? It's so peaceful and gorgeous at the same time. And it's really spectacular when all of the hydrangeas are peaking. So many of them are that beautiful true blue color. So let's round the corner here and see how Chanticleer House is looking this time of the year. They always have massive hanging baskets lining this gorgeous deck and huge planters just full of tropicals. I love how they use foliage color and foliage form. Of course, there are still things blooming, but it's really about form and color of foliage more than anything else in this area. But friends, the bell literally just rang. A bell rings when Chanticleer closes. So it's time to run, and I'll see you all sometime really soon. Bye, friends.